Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Monique. Welcome to Medora Budgets. I'd like to thank anybody who's liked or commented on any of my videos, especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. Truly started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. So if you are rocking with me on this journey, thank you. If you haven't made up your mind yet, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if it's content you find valuable or enjoyable, please feel free to subscribe. It's myself and Sweets, married with a whole bunch of kids, trying to figure out our future, family, and finances, so the decisions we're making now won't negatively impact us in the future. Today is Friday the 22nd, but you will see this video on Saturday the 23rd. We are here to do a paycheck budget closeout and maybe an expense tracking at the same time. We'll see. But we are here at least for sure to do a paycheck budget closeout because I did get paid today. Just got paid Friday night, and I need to close out the previous paycheck cycle to make sure I'm starting from scratch. And then I'll show you how I needed to add in some additional information on the budget with me forms that I had already done. So we're here to, not forms, the travel's notebook that I'm using. So that's a great segue. I use a standard TN traveler's notebook for my budget. So I'm going to pull that out of my cover here. I might need this pen too. How did I swishy that thing in there? There it is. I got it out. All right, so I'll just close this off. We don't have to talk about this yet, although there is some planning I need to do in preparation for moving to the new month of September because it is right around the corner. But here we go. We have the Traveler's Notebook TN. This is what I use for my budget. And then I'm going to be looking at some things in YNAB as well because there are a couple of things I did not do when I established this first budget for August for the paycheck that I received on August the 8th. This is the one that we are here to close out. I did not write down or account for my rollover here. That's not here. And that's going to pose a problem because in some categories I spent more money than I allocated from the check. So things aren't going to quite line up the way that I would like for them to. So that's the first thing that I did not do. The second thing was some of the money that came in for inflow didn't necessarily go straight into the budget. So we're going to talk about those two things, and I may need to look at YNAB around some of those instances. All right, so I am going to feel like you guys can see it pretty well, but I'm going to go in a little bit more, and I'm actually going to move this over to this side because I'm really just using the YNAB piece as a reference if necessary. Let's put the calculator up there, and now we are good to go. All right, so let's talk about the inflow. So for the bills account, definitely had $1,500 to go into that account. I'm going to use, because my felt pen that I really love is almost out. It's losing its scratchy. All right, so I'm going to go move to this pen. This is a 0.5 Pentel Flow Tune. It came in the cloth and paper, the most recent cloth and paper subscription. I guess that would have been for August, and I really like it. So we're going to go ahead and use that for right now. So I did have $1,500 to go into the bills account. I had $916 to come into the variable. I have pulled over based on, and I've come up with these numbers based on the expense tracking that I did. You know what? This is why I said I needed to do the expense tracking, because I had one more week, the week of 8/16 through 8/21. I got paid on 8/22. So the week of 8/16 to 8/21, I really need to get those final numbers so that I can make sure my closeout happens the way that it's supposed to. So we are going to talk about the expenses. Luckily, there's not a lot of expenses to discuss because, let me find a marker. What color do I want to use? We will use our purple. All right, so we don't have a lot of expenses to talk about because, number one, I had 3 no-spend days. No spend on 8/18, no spend on 8/19, and no spend yesterday on 8/21. Thank you, Sweets, for coming in clutch and getting me something to eat. So I did not have to spend any money on that day. We've so I've only got expenses for 8/16, 8/17, and 8/20 that I need to worry about. So let's start to add those up based on the categories that I have documented here. So first one is food. So that's $65.45 for food. $65.45. $39.02. So we have $39.02 over here for gas. $39.02 there. All right. OTC, nothing for over the counter as far as meds are concerned. Home had one purchase of $36.52. $36.52. Personal had a few spent, and that shows $65.55. $65.55 there. And sinking funds. So here I had a target purchase of $102.06, and Beam was part of that, $65.54. And that would have come from Being Just Stuff. And that's it. I don't have any other expenses, so nothing under miscellaneous. So the total for the week, 8/16 to 8/25, I spent is $272.08. $272.08. So I needed that to make sure that I am tracking for what's going on over here. So sinking funds, I had $169.58, $13.57, $25.78, and also for sinking funds, I've got $65.54 plus $65.54, and that equals altogether that's $274.47. So I pulled $274.47 from for sinking funds. Okay. And then Sweets gave me $100 once. Then he gave me another $100. That's for 2 weeks, $100 each week. And then he gave me another $66 to pay back the Lawn Love. I told him he didn't have to, but he did give me that money. Now the $66 I actually transferred over to the credit union over here, and we'll talk about that later. But that was still total inflow here. So that total inflow is $266. $266 was Sweets. This was sinking funds, and the $163 is other. Alrighty, so total actual. So total was $3,119.47. That's what we're working with up there. And we're going to document that down here. $3,119.47. All right. I did not change any of my allocations here. So that total for the outflow for the bills account was $729, and then $884 debt. So that is $1,609. Outflow minus $1,609. For variables, here's where it gets a little tricky. So I may have spent more money in these categories than I planned on, than I allocated, but that's because I still had some rollover in those accounts, and I did not account for that in my rollover over here in the inflow. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to look at what the actuals were. I'm going to put that kind of in this area over here, what the actuals were as far as spend is concerned. So at the end of the day, I may end up showing that I'm over budget. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm going to do a better job the next time out, now that I recognize I forgot to get those rollover amounts. I got them now. for this paycheck I just received, but in here I did not. All right, so for food, I spent $363.40. That's not right. All right, so the reason why that's not right is because it should just count for these 2 weeks. This week has a little bit of the previous paycheck in it. So I don't know how to account for that. I got paid on 8/8 and this closed on 8/9. So I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to keep this one out. Not count it. I'm writing this for future reference in Paycheck Closeout. All right, not counted in Paycheck Closeout. All right, so then what we were actually dealing with is $144.39 plus $65.45 equals $209.84. So that's $209.84 here. That's going to change over here as well. So I wrote down $169.58 for sinking funds that I pulled, $13.57, $25.78, and then $274.47. But just as I talked about just now, I wasn't paying attention to these dates. So 8/3 through 8/9 really should have been a part of the last paycheck closeout that I forgot to do. And I thought I was doing the right thing by documenting it here, but that's going to mess up my numbers. So the sinking fund use here was, I said 183.15. That's crazy. Oh, that's for 2 weeks. So that was for this 169.50. That was both of those together. All right. So sinking fund would have been just the 25.78 and the 65.47. I've only said 91.32 for sinking fund. So my new total for inflow, so it should have said $2,936. $2,936.32. Outflow still did not change. This is the money that I allocated in YNAB, so we're good. So I was over here documenting my variables. All right, so I got $209.84 for food. Next, we need to do gas. Gas is $54.05. $54.05. Okay. Home is $74.68. Okay. OTC, I don't have anything for week 2, and I don't have anything for week 1 either. So OTC was 0. Personal, $110.90. Chase install, we did that twice, so that's going to be, no, that just did it once for right now, so that's $35. US Bank, that's fine. APCU, $116. So both of these together, $116. And I did do 35 here, and I did do 25 for that one. All right, so all the money that I actually spent for variable was, total spent is $625.47. Total $625.47. All right, y'all, so abracadabra. This is a Jedi mind trick. A lot has happened in the half second between the time I wrote down this total of $625.47 and now. So a couple of things. I rushed through the video at that point because I got a note from my daughter. She needed me to bring her something at work at Zaxby's. Y'all females understand. And so I was rushing through the video, completely messed up all of the rest of it. Started to watch the video as I drove to take her what she needed, and then realized how much of a boo-boo I made. And so now I'm back and I'm editing the original video to add this piece inside instead. and we're just going to roll with it from there. So after our, I don't know, child, where I am. Okay, so I know I got the totals here. We added up all of the stuff here for variables and wrote that down, $625.47. And that should be the last thing you heard. What's missing? So what's missing is sinking fund use. So I realized as I was watching the video, I accounted for the inflow of sinking funds at $91.32, but I did not account for the outflow of using the same sinking funds, $91.32. So I need to write that in because it's not a part of the variables for the categories that I had listed, but it is unbudgeted amount. And I'm going to write the word unbudgeted over here. It is unbudgeted amount that I need to account for within the budget itself. So $91.32. When you bring in sinking funds, or at least for me, I know that sinking funds have dual duty. They need to be documented in the inflow because you brought that into your income for you to be able to spend. And then it needs to be accounted for the outflow because you did actually spend that money and you no longer have it saved or have it available for you. So we did have to write that in. And then the other thing was around giving. Initially, I said I was not going to put that in, but I thought about it. It is money that was allocated, and if I'm not going to count it in here, if I'm not going to change up anything here, I probably do need to account for it now. So that's $76.79. I am going to write in here, and we are going to account for that there as well. The other thing, up here, you'll notice there was $100. That's the money that I got from the sinking fund. I'm sorry, the $100 that I got from the sale of the mini fridge. It shows that I sent that to the high yield savings account. So that is more savings here that I did not account for. All of these savings accounts that are listed here, except for the bean binder and acrylic box. So right here. All of these are sinking fund amounts that went into the high yield savings account. I need to account for that $100 as well. So I need to write in high yield savings account here. High yield savings got $100. So that means this total is $460 that I actually had that went over there from the inflow. And then I did account for the 66 here. And I've got that documented here. So we did count that 116. All right, so that's the cleanup that I needed to do to the budget. Let's go ahead and add up all of these together. All right, so that's 209.84, 5405, 7468. Oh, wait. That was another thing I found. Hold on. I messed up gas. So gas here. That was the other one. I made up so many mistakes. I'm just glad. If you're a content creator, I know y'all look at your videos. It's just, if you don't, you need to before you post them, because you got to be sure. So 2302 was one gas purchase, and then the 1501 was the other gas purchase. It actually added up to 3803, and somehow I got 3902. So I'm going to erase that. And now, the initial total was wrong as well. 209.84 plus 5306 plus 7468 plus 110.90 plus 35 plus 25 plus 116 equals. So initially it was 624.48, and now we're going to add in the 91.32 from sinking funds and the 76.79 for unbudgeted equals, so the total amount $792.59. And we're going to use this total. And we're going to use this total. And go with those. So that is $792.59. And that is $460. Now I think we're cooking. 29, 36, 32, 2936 32 minus 1609 minus 792.59 minus 460 equals, I have remaining $74.73. $74.73. That is it now for true. All right. Thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.